The American people are tired of women.
Uh-oh.
Peace, homie. Enjoy your
AOC
Sunday.
was on CNN State of the Union, and she was asked about the channel. Oh no. Oh no, wait. He didn't. Irrelevant to Sunday Funday, but if you want a signal boost to be good. No, dude. Get out of here picking a fight. I don't even know what it is. I don't want to know. Okay, let's watch.
Meadows and Pelosi talking about the stimulus, the relief bill. You have warned of a, quote, mass eviction crisis in your New York district if the relief package isn't approved as soon as possible. Do you think it's time for Democrats to declare victory and get this passed now so your constituents can get the help they desperately need right now?
Yeah. Yes, you know, I do think passing a stimulus is incredibly important. There are people that are in a lot of pain, but, you know, frankly, I think the thing that's important is that the Republican side really needs to get their act together. When we hear one thing about an offer from the White House, you also hear Mitch McConnell saying that he doesn't have the votes for it internally. And so while they're trying to present this united message of kind of having all their ducks in a row, the fact of the matter is they can't even get their own senators to agree to their own package. And so really a lot of this package is going to rely on Democratic votes. It's going to require delivering every Democratic vote in the Senate and peeling off Republican votes to agree to it. So we really need folks to make sure that you know, that we're getting state and local funding, that people can get a second stimulus check without giving up their protections in their workplace.
Let's turn to climate change, which is an issue of tremendous importance, especially to you. You introduced a bill earlier this year that would ban all fracking nationwide within the next 5 years. To be completely candid, Vice President Biden's position on the issue of fracking has been confusing. During the primary, he sounded supportive of a ban. On Saturday, he told voters in Pennsylvania, quote, "I'm not banning."
I like that Jake Tapper is already like sliding back to the comfortable, like, I'm actually a centrist position now that most people believe that like Donald Trump is going to lose, including some key Republicans as well. And who knows what will happen, because we do live in hell world, and you know, the worst possible outcome usually does end up happening. But like, I like that he's already doing the well, I'm actually doing contentious journalism. Meanwhile, it's just like cynical defense of, like, cynical adoption of like Republican points of view and shit like that, which in an effort to seem like he's unbiased, when in fact we of course know he is biased without a doubt.
Fracking, period. It sounds like now he's on the other side of this issue from you. Does it bother you?
This is a deranged pervert.
It's been great.
You know,
to see the growth from
it
the
does not bother me.
Here's to another
I
10
believe,
months,
and I have a very strong position on fracking. You know, the science is very clear. The methane emissions from fracking are up to 6.
Why do you act like you have Trump when you wouldn't have a job without Trump? You'd be averaging 300 viewers in Fortnite. Why? I started playing Fortnite while Trump was president. Also, I was more popular before Donald Trump became president. My peak of like normie popularity came before Donald Trump was president. I haven't reached that same level of normie popularity since then. I much prefer this level. I much prefer having my own community and whatnot, but...
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm out of control. I apologize for that.
Today is the Chilean national plebiscite to finally get rid of Pinochet's constitution.
It's so weird. It's so weird when people are like virtue signaling about my career. It's like, dog, don't worry. Let me worry about me, okay? You worry about you. I worry about me. That, of course, doesn't pertain to like members of my community, not like random dipshits who come in here and are like, dude, why do you act like you hate Donald Trump? Because you wouldn't be anywhere without him. It's like, yeah, it's true. I rediscovered you after I was obsessed with UIT in 2013.
64 times more powerful than CO2 emissions at trapping heat in the air. And just from a perspective of stopping climate change, you know, there is a scientific consensus. However, that is my view. Vice President Biden has made very clear that he does not agree with a fracking ban. And I consider that, you know, it will be a privilege to lobby him should we win the White House. But we need to focus on winning the White House first. And I'm happy to make my case, but I also understand that he is in disagreement on that issue.
Do you worry that his opposition to a fracking ban is going to hurt young voter turnout?
Well, you know, I believe that young people right now have a very disciplined activist mindset, and they are not here with the intent of voting for their favorite person or voting for, you know, someone that they think is perfect as president. I think young people are actually quite disciplined and quite realistic and pragmatic in their vote, and they want to vote for who they are going to lobby. Right now, young people are so clear on their stances on many political issues that they believe that they want to vote for a president that is at least going to be receptive to their advocacy, activism, and protest, frankly. And so, you know, there is no question that Joe Biden is a much better person in that position to be receptive and actually listen to the voices of advocates than Donald Trump, who is intensely focused on enriching himself and his friends.
Donald Trump listens to the activists too, but just his own version of activism, which is, you know, the Proud Boys and stuff, Stephen Miller, those who are in his inner circle that advocate for things that they care about, like maintaining a white supremacist racial pecking order, you know, that sort of stuff. And then, of course, both parties still obviously listen to the real voices, the voices that matter, the only voices that matter, the voice of the wealthy and corporations, those who represent the interests of key industries. This is the same for Joe Biden. This is the same for Donald Trump. It's just the truth.
So last year, Biden told Democratic voters he would eliminate fossil fuels as president. But listen to what he told reporters after Thursday night's debate.
We're not going to get rid of fossil fuels. We're going to get rid of the subsidies for fossil fuels, but we're not going to get rid of fossil fuels for a long time.
I'm not going to lie. Nothing. And I mean nothing. I'm sorry. This is up there. Is he going to actually do it? I don't know. Probably not.
His name
but it makes me
Hasan.
so hard. It makes me so hard thinking about eliminating subsidies for fossil fuels and potentially opening that faucet, turning that faucet on to renewable energy initiatives and renewable energy companies, except unless those renewable energy companies have already been seized and bought out by fossil fuel industry, by the fossil fuel industry, which is definitely going to be a problem in the future as well. That certainly makes me a little hard thinking about that. Just like when he said, nope, we need a $15 minimum wage. Shut up. That's good. That's really good stuff. Do I believe that he's actually going to follow through on that? Does he have the initiative? Does he have the engagement? Is he just going to actually do that? Who knows? If he's saying he's not going to get rid of fossil fuels, I have doubts he'll stop the subsidies for him. Yeah, I mean, saying that you're going to stop government subsidies to the fossil fuel industry is basically saying you're going to get rid of them. Okay? Those subsidies are built in to the profit margin for all of these corporations. It's just built in. They operate with the expectation that they are going to get those key subsidies. 85% of all energy production subsidies go to the fossil fuel industry, by the way, despite the fact that renewable energy initiatives and renewable energy industry has, has a much higher ceiling and much more jobs available and actually a future, considering the fact that it's not finite as far as we know, whereas fossil fuels are.
The American
So
people are
there is
tired
no
of women.
there is
We are
no
ready for
reason.
Undertale
There is
fuels
no
to demand
rhyme or reason not to focus on it. And this is something that I think about a lot. The shower thoughts that I have a lot about like a
big
muscular,
man, son.
like patriotic American understanding that focuses on developing American industries. I think that it's something that we could potentially lean on. Like
His
the
name
real,
is Hasan.
the really patriotic thing to do is just pay what's due. You know, to pay back the government so that they can distribute those funds appropriately to communities that need it, to the roads, to build that shit. You know what I mean? I think that's the messaging that we need more. Now, obviously, not nationalism. I cringe at that. I think nationalism is yikes as fuck and also silly overall. But I do think that America does have a dominant position as far as global powers goes. America is the
those communists are
dominant
amazing.
nation, right? And with that power, we could technically use that position to alleviate some of the issues that the global South experiences. Now, one could say that we are in that dominating position because we destroy and exploit the global South, and one would be true if they did say that. But I think that advocating, like doing advocacy along those lines, and talking about how patriotic it is to have a Green New Deal and have America truly lead on the global front as far as like focusing our efforts on renewable energy, talking about how China is lapping us on renewable energy, talking about how other countries are going to, I'll use Joe Biden's words for it, other countries are eating our lunch right from under the table, Jack. Anyway, speaking of which, of course, top of the hour, every hour, 60-second ad break, ladies and gentlemen. And then we're going to get back to this video. And then after that, we're going to do SNL. So get excited for all of that.
We're not getting...
Oh, sorry. Oops. 60-second ad break. Have you covered today's Chilean
Hasan.
plebiscite? No, not yet.
This is a deranged.
Anyway, are you going to do the 60 minutes video? Is there a new 60 minutes video or just Trump's side? Because we only watch Trump's side. Ad, we've only been here for 10 minutes. Yeah, well, I still have to do it at the top of every hour. I have sent you 2 videos on the subject of Amaranth, and if you are married, what was out of stream in the unban of the account of Security Alert I is porn. Be careful. What? Please.
His name is Hasan.
Hey guys, SNL isn't even cringe. It's just not funny. Catch you later, dude. Oh, goody, SNL. I was hoping to have time to read today. Hey, you guys have shown everybody how fucking cool you are. Okay, are you ready? You truly have shown every single person how fucking non-cringe you are in a Twitch chat. Like, literally everybody knows how fucking sick you are, dude. Wow. I bet you also have sexual intercourse, dude. Poggers. Aw.
This is a deranged pervert.
Ugh, SNL. Dude, you didn't... In the unban of the account Security
Hasan.
Alert I is
It has
porn.
been 3 months now.
Be
Wow,
careful,
I love
what?
this community. Hassle, hassle, hassle.
We're going to follow you right back to mommy.
What are your thoughts on Boris Johnson
Do you
not
think
providing
climate change
food
crisis
to children
warrants a
over the
worldwide
holidays?
massive response a la
He's a fucking
COVID-19?
Tory. They're animals. So I'm not surprised.
Getting rid of fossil fuels for a long time. You were a member of Biden's climate change task force. Is that good enough for you?
Well, you know, when he says when we're eliminating subsidies, you know, I think that is frankly an important first step. There's a lot of folks, you know, there's a lot of folks who like to.
Here's the secret that you should never tell Republicans. Eliminating subsidies is the best way, is literally using the Republican strategy against them. What, you want big government, bitch? Shut the fuck up. Why are we helping? Why are we helping these massive fucking conglomerates, these gigantic fucking oil and gas industry CEOs? Fuck that. Fuck off. Yeah. It's literally the best way to fucking destroy the fossil fuel industry. But don't tell Republicans that, obviously. Yeah, no, is that good enough for you? No, not at all. That's just the first step. Look at her face. She's like, no, it's not good enough. If they actually did that, it would be fucking good enough. You understand? It would be a really good first step. I don't know if they'll ever do it, but.
To tout themselves as free market capitalists while still trying to make sure that they get as much government subsidy and propping up of the fossil fuel industry as possible. And the fact of the matter is that if you do believe in markets, solar and renewable energies are growing less and less expensive by the day. And in many areas, they are starting to become less expensive than fossil fuels. So when you eliminate government subsidies, it becomes...
I love she said, if you believe in markets.
This is a deranged.
That's a great line.
Pervert.
It's true. Like, I like that it comes with an if. Did you pre-watch this? No, I didn't pre-watch it. That's why I like AOC. Because she is one of the few people. I mean, obviously, I don't agree with everything that she does. Sometimes I disagree with her and I criticize her. But like, ultimately, Hasan pre-watches everything, by the way. Dude, I don't even have time. When would I pre-watch things that are happening while I'm live streaming? Like, I'm live 12 hours a day. You see me watch everything the first time.
Isn't that just darling?
Anyway, I sent you this live. Oh, this was like live. Pre-watch 12 hours of content before your 12 hours of stream. Yeah, exactly. No, the reason why I don't pre-watch it but have the exact same take is because it's right. It's because it's correct. And that's also why I like LSF. Or wait, I just read LSF. That's why I like AOC. Sorry. Dude, I can't stop reading chat. It gets into my brain. That's why I like AOC, because we have agreements on these key issues.
His name is Hasan.
Becomes more difficult for fossil fuels to compete in the market.
Listen for Congress.
You know, I think while the vice president wants to make sure that he's not doing it by government mandate or regulation, you know, I do believe that we are moving towards that future. Again, I believe that there's a way and that we should push that process along. But again, the vice president and I's disagreements are I believe, recorded, and that's quite all right.
At the first presidential debate, Biden said, quote, I am the Democratic Party right now. He said the party's platform is his platform. As you just noted, you disagree with him on a range of critical issues, not just fracking, but also health care. And you have made clear, including just a few minutes ago, that you intend to push him if he wins. Do you think that that's going to be a major part of your role under a potential Biden administration, trying to push him to the left?
Big man, Hasan.
Well, you know, I don't want us to start counting our chickens before they hatch. I believe that we need to be focused on winning the White House, period. The fact of the matter is there are many critical states that are on the line, whether it's Florida, whether it's Georgia, Pennsylvania, etc. And we need to make sure that we win this White House. Frankly, I think it would be a privilege and it would be a luxury for us to be talking about what we would lobby the next Democratic and how we would push the next Democratic administration. But in terms of my role, you know, I believe that has been my role, and my role is consistent in making sure that we push the Democratic Party to have a larger vision for our future, to listen to the needs of the working class, of people who are living paycheck to paycheck, young people, people of color, because I believe that is the base of the Democratic Party, and that is who we are. You know, it is our job to make sure that we are serving all people in the United States, and particularly our base. And so, you know, is my job to push the Democratic Party? Absolutely. And that has been my job since, and that has been a part of my role since I've been elected.
It has. Understanding your reluctance to count chickens before they're hatched. And you're right. It remains a competitive election, and absolutely President Trump could be reelected. There's no question about that. So that said, Politico is reporting that Senator Bernie Sanders, who you endorsed for the Democratic presidential nomination, Sanders has expressed an interest in potentially serving as Biden's labor secretary if Biden wins the White House. How crucial is it to the progressive movement that Biden offers an important position to Bernie Sanders in a Biden cabinet should that happen, should Biden win?
By the way, I don't even think he's going to do it. I'll be honest, like, I don't think he's going to do it. And where I'm coming from with that is like, one, he already gave like all of his bargaining power, unless he like talked to Obabe behind closed doors and like facilitated a deal with him to concede. I don't think it'll happen. I wish it did. I wish it would. But I don't think that I don't think that Joe Biden's camp is going to do that. Now, part of the reason why I feel that way, of course, is that, I mean, look, and this is the last piece of like hard news that we're going to talk about, okay? Here it is. Joe Biden's campaign is currently reportedly discussing the Massachusetts governor, Charlie Baker, for a potential cabinet position. So out of all the people out of Massachusetts, the only like, out of all the people that they're talking about.
Pervert.
Can you explain why Bernie giving up Senate seat to be Labor sec would be good for us? Aren't those second positions ultimately chained to the president's will?
That's true. Vermont does have a Vermont's governor would destroy that. Certainly, you're correct on that as well. That's also another issue. Would you rather give him? Would you rather him give up his Senate seat for that? I think ultimately, yes. I think Bernie Sanders would be more significant in an administrative position in a way that would even literally lose out on one fucking singular Senate seat. Yeah, I do believe that. I do. I think having actual influence over, like, as labor secretary, or having actual influence over like labor regulation in the country, 100% I think would be worth it. Especially depending on what our current like Senate races are going to look like. If the Democrats seize majority of the Senate, then yeah. Not if it's 51-50, certainly, but if Democrats are expected to not only get majority but also have like a couple seats to spare on top of that, then yeah. Labor is not that important if you're against the policy of the country, especially commerce. What? Labor is the most important. What are you talking about? Pelosi said today that she will go for another term as Speaker if Dems keep the House. Ugh. This is how Bernie can still win? What? Win what? What do you think? I'm like making an argument that like Bernie Sanders is going to be able to like somehow become president by having more power and more responsibility over, like, I know it's a meme, but it's like, it's such a weird, like, snarky neoliberal meme that really fucking frustrates me. It's like, fuck you. I'm sorry that you're like delusional and you think you fucking nihilistic, privileged, out of touch babies are so fucking delusional that like you literally think it sucks when someone actually wants to vote for someone. Like, you are so ready to be cucks to establishment Democrats that like you unironically are like making fun of people actually wanting to vote for someone. And it's, by the way, it like triggered by a meme or it's a fucking joke. No, the fuck it's not. Most people that apply that joke are applying that towards people that actually love Bernie Sanders and wanted Bernie Sanders to win power. And those, it's a cynical application of that joke more often than not. So don't cape for some dipshit gray name, okay? Yeah, a lot of people, here's how Bernie can win. A lot of people that like adopt that meme are doing it from the point of view of like cynicism, where they're like, wow, like, can you imagine wanting to vote for someone? Yeah, I'm sorry, I know.
This is a deranged pervert.
Jesus Christ, why is Biden trying to make my governor a cabinet position? Biden chill. Yeah, also like putting in, like assigning a Republican into that seat for at least until
This is a deranged
until the end of Bernie's term would be a reasonable concession if he had more power. If he had more power over what over like labor laws and shit. Yeah,
pull-out game weak.
I think that would be huge. So yeah, I do agree. I think that it would be a reasonable, depending on the situation, depending on the circumstance, I think that it would be a reasonable move. Commerce handles a considerably larger budget than labor. If your positions are antagonistic to the Secretary of Commerce, he would be easily cocked. Well, we know that he's not going to be fucking commerce. What are you, crazy? So what do you want? Like, that's such a, like, I'm glad you have that take, but what is your expectation? Do you think the neoliberal cabinet of Joe Biden, the most centrist fucking Democrat in the centrist center right party, is going to have Bernie Sanders in charge of commerce? No. Why are Republican governors so popular? I don't know. I mean, governor is the one seat that has so much power over state affairs. Obviously, that Republicans consistently win over. Yeah, commerce is pretty much guaranteed to be some Goldman psycho. Exactly. Does Vermont have a GOP governor? Wouldn't Bernie get replaced by a Dem? No, Vermont does have a Republican governor, and yes, they would most likely put a Republican. And yeah, in red states they have blue governors too. It's very weird. And no, you're wrong. No, because so many boomers still vote to keep the other party in check. No, that's wrong. That's false. No, with governors, boomers and everyone else often vote just for the person. They don't care about party affiliation or party loyalty in that same way. Oh, Vermont has special elections if there's a vacancy? I did not know that. Like you said, American voters can be very dumb as to keep the balance of power. No, not with the governor position. If that was the case, no, not with the governor's position. That seat is up to the individual. They
well,
just,
what I think is extremely important, and what I think what a lot of people
like
kind of misunderstand about the progressive movement is that it wasn't a slogan when Bernie ran on saying "not me, us." And so it's not just about where Bernie Sanders is next term or what role that Senator Sanders is playing, but it's really about who the Biden administration is choosing to lead agencies across the board. And, I am not familiar personally with any of Senator Sanders's requests or non-requests. I do not know personally about the veracity of this, but I believe that it's critically important that the Biden administration appoint progressive leaders, whether it's in labor, whether it's in the Treasury, whether it's, Secretary of Education, et cetera, because the fact of the matter is that this isn't just about the progressive movement. This is about making sure that we're not just going back to how things were and rewinding the tape before the Trump administration, but this is about making sure how are we going to not just make up for lost time, but leap into the future and actually ensure that we are making the investments and policy decisions that will create an advanced American society. And frankly, conservative appointments will not get us there.
Do you think the Obama presidency was not a progressive presidency?
You know, I think President Obama did everything he could with the limitations of a Republican Senate and, frankly, a Republican-controlled Congress with much of his term. But, you know, I think that being said, there were, of course, progressive demands that were, and progressive wishes that weren't exactly met, but that wasn't solely due to President Obama. We desperately wanted even to settle for a public option during that time, and it frankly wasn't President Obama's fault that that didn't happen. You know, I do believe that there are certain areas like foreign policy where there was much to be desired, and I don't believe that, for example, in certain areas like progressive policy, there wasn't necessarily, it wasn't as progressive as perhaps many folks in this country would have liked. But, you know, if we have an opportunity, if we work hard enough to elect folks like Jamie Harrison, to make sure that we protect seats like Gary Peters, and to make sure that we unseat Republicans like Joni Ernst, and we have the unique, frankly, once.
Exactly. Robert Reich was labor secretary under Clinton, oversaw one of the larger increases in the minimum wage in the 40s. Bernie, as labor sec, could get $15 done. Yeah, no, it would be tremendous. It would be fucking tremendous.
Once in a generation opportunity.
Also, speaking of AOC's personal like rhetoric here, obviously she's not gonna go on fucking Jake Tapper and be like, "Oh, Bob, I was drone king," like I do. Okay, that's part of the reason why I think she can do
His name is
why I think she has
Hasan.
a lot. She has a future in the Democratic Party because I think she plays the political game very well. And yes, it's not appealing to the hammer and sickle left, of course,
Arjan?
which is
Pogo
fine.
Arjan? Pogo Arjan? Pogo Arjan?
How can you say
Pogo
she's
Arjan?
genuine? These are all typical
Pogo
politician
Arjan?
answers.
Pogo Arjan? Pogo Arjan?
Um,
Pogo.
yeah, no, she's doing that. I'm celebrating her for defending Obama in the only narrow way that you can defend Barack Obama, which is true. What she said about Obama is something I've said as well, that ultimately, while they maintained majority for the first 2 years, where they held on to Congress, the reason why, even then, the reason why, I mean, they should have never
Hasan.
conceded to the Republicans ever. They should have never had the positions that they, where they hired like Goldman fucking executives or Republicans. Absolutely. Okay, the Obama administration fucked up big time. The Obama administration didn't fight hard enough for the public option and even shuttered its own grassroots organizing specifically dedicated to advocacy for it. Okay? Obama for America turned into Organizing for America and was shuttered under the DNC. Unacceptable. Okay? But having said that, it was still an issue. Internal pressure from Blue Dog Democrats, Joe Lieberman, and also an obstructionist fucking, what do you call it? An obstructionist ass Republican Party that single-handedly only wanted to work, as stated by Mitch McConnell himself,
I'm out of control. I
to
apologize
ensure
for
that Obama was a one-term president,
I don't know
which
if you
failed.
ever covered it, but I am genuinely just curious on what your opinion
And then
is in regards
losing
to what
all
Marx
of
wrote
those,
about the right to
losing
firearms
all
for
of
the working
those,
class to ensure they cannot be
all of
taken
those seats as a
advantage of by
consequence of
fascist
expending your
leader or
political
state.
capital
Tony
on
San.
something that was basically a cash transfer for a market-based insurance plan. All of that was bad. But of course, she's not going to fucking turn around and be like, yeah, Obama sucked on Jake Tapper. Oh, the
Station
Jubilee
was packed.
Oh my God, Jubilee video, but for Biden? Okay, I already love it. I mean, this dude is already awesome. Okay, this is great. This is going to be fucking fun as shit. We'll look at this as well. Full SNL
This is a
playlist by
deranged
Popcorn Boy.
pervert.
Popcorn Boy coming in clutch, dude. My man Popcorn Boy. I'm surprised she even criticized Obama as much as she did. For that to be heard on CNN is worth a lot. No, it's not a lot.
We're going to follow you right back to mommy. You get your milk.
Looking stinky Arjan? Pogo? Looking stanky Assad?
To have the White House, the Senate, and the House majorities democratically controlled, then I believe we have an obligation to the American people to show what a democratic administration can actually accomplish, and that we can govern, and that we can truly have leaps in policy that people can feel in their everyday lives that makes voting Democratic not just worthwhile, but a memorable shift from just a flat line of this idea of bipartisanship, which often just becomes Republican manipulation.
You went on Twitch this week and played the video game Among Us with popular internet personalities to encourage young people to vote. I am obviously not a young voter. I had to ask my children what Twitch is and what Among Us is. They, of course, knew all about it. That video has now more than 5 million views. Where did the idea come from? And is it possible to translate this kind of unorthodox, flashy approach to outreach into actual turnout among young voters who historically do not turn out as much as they could?
Yes, well, the idea initially came from, frankly, I am often on social media, and I've been seeing a lot of people playing Among Us. Twitch is a platform that I'm familiar with as a live streaming platform, and I decided that this was something that I wanted to do, not just for fun, but to actually try in the form of engagement. We do know that Twitch is a very popular engagement platform for other means. People often raise thousands, if not millions of dollars collectively for charities. And we decided to test this out as a voter mobilization strategy. And so when we actually...
Wait, did I get cucked by the overlay? Oh no, name blocked, dude. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. What matters is that it happened, okay?
For other means, people often raise thousands, if not millions of dollars collectively for charities. And we decided to test this out as a voter mobilization strategy. And so when we actually were able to put on the stream, when you add up the collective streams, over 500,000 people were watching live. As you noted, 5 million people have viewed since. And it actually has been effective. We were directing voters to iwillvote.com, which helps young people not just register to vote, but develop a voter plan. And the thing about voter plans is that we do know scientifically and from behavioral studies that people who make a plan to vote are statistically much more likely to vote than just registering to vote. And what we found during the live stream is that folks from the DNC were tweeting and reporting that we were the highest driver to iwillvote.com ever during...
That's dope. That's it. That's all you need, dude.
The cast of the live stream. And we are seeing early returns in places like Florida, where youth turnout is in early voting is astronomically higher than it was even in 2016. And so we do know that young people are starting to become an extraordinarily powerful electorate that are issues focused, whether it is March for Our Lives on gun safety, or whether it is the Sunrise Movement mobilizing on climate change. They're having impacts on the election. You could just see in Senator Markey's re-election the role that they played.
It is interesting watching you drag your party into the 21st century. Last question for you. If Speaker Pelosi runs again, as she just indicated she will, if the Democrats keep the House, will you support her?
Well, again, I want to make sure that we win the House. I do believe that we will, but it's critically important that we are supporting Democrats in tight swing races, making sure that not only all of them come back, but that we grow our majority. I believe that we have to see those races.
Hey, man. Hey. Where is it, guys? Where is it?
As they come, see what candidates are there. I am committed to making sure that we have the most progressive.
Hey, what happened? I thought you guys were like, oh, dude, she's just like such a fucking neoliberal, dude. Like, she's just such a boring neolib, dude. Right?
This is a deranged
candidate there. But if Speaker
August.
Pelosi is that most progressive candidate, then I will be supporting her.
Okay, interesting. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman from New York, thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate it.
That's a no, by the way.